welcome to Movie RX, where I prescribe entertainment one movie at a time. I'm your host, Dr. Benjamin. I'm a doctor in the same way as Dr. Laura. I can scream at you all day, but in the end, I'm still not a psychologist.
Jeez, man. She's a doctor, just not that kind of doctor.
She's not a psychologist, though. That's what she bills herself as, but that's not what kind of doctor she is. And that's not what kind of doctor I am.
I'm not a doctor in any way, but I give good advice. I could be Dr. Laura.
See? That's what I'm talking about. So, as you can hear today in studio, I have a special guest in here, one of the two hosts of the Roundtable Mindset, my sister, my much older sister, Jamie. Welcome, Jamie.
Slightly older sister. I mean, much older when we were like 5 and 10, but come on now. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So this movie was found after scrolling for 13 hours through Netflix pages when we were in a show hole. Yeah, I found, Jen found it actually.
Please tell me you weren't doing 13 hours straight.
Well, that's kind of how it feels. Okay. I mean, trying to scroll through Netflix after you're done with a show or something, you're like, so what do I watch now? And then you pretty much spend about the amount of time that you would watching something.
I do hate a
just
show.
Scrolling through. Yeah, it sucks. So scrolling for what felt like 13 hours through Netflix. Jen found it. Ironic. Yes. She actually basically were talking about how awesome Adam Driver is. And then she was like, oh, look, Adam Driver. And we were in a show hole and Adam Driver bursts into action.
You do know that there is like a feature where you can type in an actor and it will give you.
Right. Well, we weren't thinking about that. We were just scrolling and then bullshitting at the same time. That's how we spend quality time together.
Scrolling and bullshitting sounds like a lot of quality.
Yes. Lots of quality time that way.
That's awesome.
But this Adam Driver movie brings a sci-fi adventure right to your living room. We're talking about 65 today. Basic info on this movie. It's a Netflix original released in 2023. Written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. Stars Adam Driver, Ariana Greenblatt, and Chloe Coleman. The IMDb description. This is Jamie's thing. An astronaut crash lands on a mysterious planet only to discover he's not alone.
It's like not a description. I have figured it out, Ben. I want you to know I have thought about this long and hard, especially when I listen to your episodes that I'm not in and you mention how much I'm going to hate this description or like this description. I have decided these aren't descriptions. These are like subtitles. There's the title and then the subtitle. This is like the subtitle. It's not a description.
Okay.
So maybe you should start rebranding it that way, and maybe IMDb will follow suit. The IMDb subtitle to this movie is, in short sense.
I don't know.
It is what it is.
Some of them aren't so bad, though. Like, there've been a couple of them that weren't so bad.
When you can get more information on the back of a book sleeve, it's not a description.
Well, I guess.
That's just my thought.
But still. I don't know. This one's not great. But I'm pretty sure I'm just going to make sure that all of them that we do are ones that have really bad ones, just so that I can, get you all riled up. And
I'll be talking about it for weeks. It's not hard to do.
So, initial movie impression, cinematography surprised me, as it does all the time with Netflix originals. I mean, when you really think about it, like how great is Netflix quality, as far as their cinematography, lighting, and all of that stuff. Like, I mean, they really do a great job.
Even special effects, like it is kind of amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know if that stuff has just gotten cheaper, so Netflix can do it easier or what.
I think what it is that I think that people are just. I think that more homegrown special effects people are just being given an opportunity, because like it used to be that there were like 150 special effects people in Hollywood and everybody had to fight for their time. And there were a few innovators and things like that. But now with computers and computer power and everything being so available, and special effects programming and things like that being more available, I mean, I have everything I need to do all of the things that are in this movie.
Well, let's not even, I mean, if we want to go down a social rabbit hole, I suppose you could probably do a lot of that crap with AI anymore too.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't trust it though, because then, I mean, if we're being honest, you might end up with a dinosaur with like some kind of male appendage coming out of its forehead, which wouldn't be good for Netflix.
Ooh, alien dinosaur with a mega hat.
Alien dinosaur with a "Make America Great Again" hat.
Why not?
We already had one. I'm just woo. That's encroaching on political stuff here.
I can't help it. It's kind of been a political week for me. So
yeah. Well, I mean, that is kind of your skis when it comes to podcasting. So
well, yeah.
Now let's see here. I mean, and again, back to the the thing that we were talking about, the kind of the initial impression with this, the lighting and all that stuff. I mean, it's great because Netflix is doing a really great job in killing it in that way. But I mean, what I think was really cool about this movie for me was that the acting was shouldered by two performers. It was Mills and Koa, and they really carried the brunt of the acting in this movie, and I think they did fantastic. If I'm going to be honest, the first time I watched it, it was just kind of a popcorn movie, what Dad calls a popcorn movie. Just a movie that you sit down and eat popcorn and watch.
Entertainment.
And yeah, when you're done, you're done.
Yep.
But I don't know. There's a little bit more to it, I guess. For me anyway. What was kind of your general feeling on the technical aspects of this movie?
Well, it did. So I can't remember what was that movie we did with the caller? It was Jake Gyllenhaal.
The Guilty.
The Guilty. It kind of had an air of that for me. Just because of its super limited cast, the focus on the two characters for the bulk of the movie. And I guess seeing that it was released in 2023 makes me wonder, was this filmed? It
was filmed in 2020 and 2021.
Okay, seriously. Like I called that because I was like, I bet it just had such a similar feel. I mean, whole different movie, whole different scenario and everything, but it had that I think that made it feel more up close and personal, like in your face. I don't know that the only word I can think of to describe it was intimate. Like I just felt like it was right there. But otherwise, I think, yeah, Netflix has done a pretty incredible job. For me, I don't know if this is one I would watch a second time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was good. It was good. That popcorn movie kind of described it for me. There was good stuff, and there's, it's not like you can't take the lessons out, but yeah, it was good.
Usually right after the initial stuff, I jump into characters, and I mean, normally like what I've been doing is I've been saying, I've been doing the whole, tell me about one of your favorites, but there isn't really a whole lot to choose from as far as favorites go. So
we'll make this short and sweet.
So we'll just talk about the ones that just kind of pop out right away, and that's first off Mills. Tell me what you think about Mills.
Well, Mills, I think the entire movie, I never saw him as anything other than the dad wanting to get home. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That was his character for me. I'm sure he's somewhat of a scientist and an explorer and an astronaut. I mean, he's got obviously some skill and education and talent to be able to do what he's doing, but all of that was secondary. It was like dad trying to get home.
Right from the get-go, it was like, I mean, he's out on this big, long 3-year mission. Yeah. He's taken away from his family for 3 years. And like it to an adult, that's like, it's whatever. But I mean, when you think about that from a kid's perspective, that's a 15-year-old to a graduate.
Yeah. Yeah.
that is a 7-year-old to a 10-year-old. You know, I mean,
it's like a middle school to a high schooler. I mean, it's crazy.
It's quite a big chunk of a kid's life for a dad to be gone, and he's not happy about it, but he is happy that what he's doing is going to do good things for his family. And that is what he's about. For a large portion of the movie, I think that Koa is kind of in a similar thing with like what you were talking about, where she's just kind of out looking for her family, but very, very literally. Like, I mean, she is stuck in this place with a man that she doesn't understand what he's saying. He doesn't have any ability to convey to her exactly what's going on. And the only way that he does is not honest. He blatantly lies to her to get her to go with him.
Well, thankfully she didn't understand him really. So
what did you think of Koa?
Well, and we chatted a little bit before this. I had a little bit of misunderstanding even about her origin. Like, I thought she had been on the planet. So the whole time I'm like, why is no one talking about where the heck this kid came from? You know? So I don't know if I just was answering a text during that first part of the movie or what, but I kind of missed that. So I think what I take away, I guess, with her was so much that it was like the hope of her family being there is what kept her going. Mm-hmm. And I wonder how hard she would have fought through some of the things that she fought through had she not had that hope at the end. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and probably down here in the talking points a little bit. I mean, how much of her getting there with that, you know, that found family aspect, in Mills,
right.
You know, because like, I don't know, they just had a really great, like, growing story through this whole thing. It was just kind of interesting. So getting into the points of interest.
Before we go on though, I feel like there's one other character that plays a big part in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that was Mills's daughter.
Naveen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think what's so interesting about this, and I don't know if those were like recorded transmissions along the way, but not only did Mills connect with that character, obviously it's his daughter, but what I thought was really interesting in the movie was how Koa also connected with her.
Right.
Like, she was super interested in her, and even at the end she was part of saving them. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, and she was kind of a part of saving Mills all throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, he crash lands on this crazy ass planet. I mean, there's nothing good is going to happen when they come and pick him up. He is going to be blamed for everything, you know, the asteroids and everybody dying except for him. Like, I mean, that's not going to feel good for anybody. And he was really ready to just be done with it.
Right.
And then he thinks about Naveen.
Right. And
he puts the gun down. She had played a part in saving Mills all throughout the movie. And I don't know, it almost felt like Koa had a lot of focus on Naveen too. Almost like she was trying to, like, I think that she knew that it was his daughter, but I think that she was trying to figure out why all of these things were so important. And I don't know, like maybe she just saw her as a potential friend or something. Like, I don't know. Kids do tend to gravitate to each other and things like that. But your first point of interest was Jurassic Park in space.
It is.
There's no fences, Jamie.
It doesn't matter. It was Jurassic Park in space.
Okay.
All of those scenes of, like, I mean, even the dinosaurs looked like dinosaurs and they were aliens of some kind, but
no, they were dinosaurs. Okay. So this is supposed to, I think you might have missed the premise here.
It's very possible. Like I said, I was responding to a text or something. I missed something.
This is Earth. These people are from far, far, far away. This is Earth. And they crash landed on Earth 65 million years ago. when dinosaurs were there. Yes. So,
How did I miss that? Where was that in the movie?
well, that's what the 65 is.
I couldn't
Yeah.
figure. I was going to ask you, what the hell does the title mean? Like, I didn't even understand.
Yeah, 65 million years ago was when dinosaurs were a thing. That's just the general number that's given. There's a huge span, but generally they say 65 million years ago. That would also be why the little girl wasn't from the planet. She was in a pod because there were two pods that were missing, and he found one, and it had Koa in it, and so he took it back and opened it up and checked on her, and then he left, and then she followed him.
Yeah, no, I missed that somehow along the way. And maybe it's because did I miss a title where it like said this is Earth? I don't even know. That's crazy. Were they going? They weren't going to Earth though. They were on their way somewhere else.
Yeah, they were going to another colony somewhere.
Gotcha.
But they ran through an asteroid belt and beat themselves up and ended up having to crash land. So, yeah. Okay.
Okay, I think I just had this little light bulb moment.
Okay.
The asteroid that came at the very end was the asteroid that destroyed all the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I missed a whole bunch of this movie.
Yeah.
To be fair, this is not my type of movie. Like, this is not a movie I would naturally pick. So I was
No. And I'm gonna get up on my microphone here for a second and talk about this. So I knew stop it. I'm up on my mic, Jamie. This is when I get up on my mic.
Is this when we're like telling secrets?
Hey.
Is this secret?
So the reason I picked this was because I knew that there was no other way you'd watch it unless I did.
You're so right. Nope, would have passed right by it.
But it was a good movie.
Well, okay, so so it wasn't Jurassic Park in space, it was Jurassic Park, like the Jurassic period.
Right. Actually, probably closer to Cretaceous, but okay.
Well, it's spirit is there is what I'm talking about.
Okay. So yeah,
this has
there
been
was
such a good episode for me. I've learned so much.
So yeah, you got your Jurassic Park in space talking point.
Yes.
You also put in a lot of the stuff in here that I'm guessing you got beaten up by jump scares quite a bit.
Oh my gosh. Well, that and the next one, this nonstop action. I was exhausted by the time I finished watching this movie. And I hate that kind of movie. Like I need some ebb and flow. I need some peaks and valleys. And this was like from the word go. You had the nice touching 30 seconds in the very beginning, and then we're in space and we're being beat up by asteroids. And now we have alien dinosaurs chasing us down, but it's actually just dinosaurs. So, yeah.
But what about the what about the berries?
I don't. You're the second person that says what about the berries. I don't even know. Like Jen was like, "What about the berries?" I don't know. Whatever.
Well, it's funny. Like,
well, yeah, but you're also hearing dinosaurs in the background who are going to jump in and eat them at any second. There was no rest. There was no.
I mean, there was eventually, I guess.
Like hyper vigilant the entire movie. I was having a trauma trigger or something. I don't know, but it was definitely it was fight or flight for me the whole movie. It was terrible.
Right. So. Well, and I don't know. I guess I felt like that they had taken a couple of breaks every now and again to kind of help out with that a little bit. And a lot of that I think was where a lot of the development of their relationship kind of came in.
Yeah.
I mean, with the berries thing, do not eat. You put those in your mouth, they go down to your stomach and blah, 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 blah.
Do you know how much Can I just tell you, do you know how much money we would save on healthcare if we had a little thing that we could stick something into and say, yes, this is okay for you to eat. No, this is not okay for you to eat.
Yeah. everything that you buy at a damn grocery store would tell you no, though.
Well, except the thing is that we wouldn't have to recall lettuce all the time.
Oh, that's very true.
Oh, salmonella, never mind. I'll take the next one. Thank you.
Fair.
I'll pass on the romaine. Give me the iceberg. It's okay.
Oh. You know what? Have you noticed? Maybe I'm the only one that's noticed, but have you noticed that like lettuce, like iceberg lettuce and all of that, it's not green anymore. There's no green lettuce anymore.
Oh,
like everywhere you go, it's almost like everywhere you go, everything that you get for lettuce is heart lettuce.
You just need to get what is it? Well, there's kale. Kale's super green.
Ugh, gross.
There's also
millennial.
I only like it in smoothies.
Gross.
No, there's like butter. What is it? Butter, not squash, butter lettuce, butter. I don't remember. But no, you get it. It comes in a plastic package at our grocery store.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's like perfect sandwich lettuce. It's like picture perfect sandwich lettuce. It's leaves.
Well, and I don't use it for sandwiches, but I like salads and stuff. I like to get spring mix. It's got a little bit of arugula in it and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I don't know. It's pretty good stuff.
I ain't no rabbit. I'm just joking. I like spring mix. It's fine. I'm just saying you don't often hear that they recall iceberg for salmonella. Usually it's romaine.
Oh, I guess I don't pay enough attention to that.
Yeah. Plus, if you think about, what's interesting? Okay, this is so off topic. It's not even funny. But I was reading somewhere that like in the 50s and 60s, the only lettuce you could get was iceberg. Like they really didn't have a variety of lettuces at the grocery store like they do now.
Right.
I thought that was interesting. And I was thinking back to when we were kids, and it was probably really just iceberg and mixed, like chopped lettuce, the pre-cut lettuce, and maybe romaine. Maybe you could get romaine back then.
Yeah, I don't know.
Of course, people could also walk around the grocery store smoking and had ashtrays on the end of the aisle. So,
right.
It's a whole different lifetime ago. If we're
God, I remember. Do you also remember ashtrays at the ends, by the end caps at Walmart?
I don't. Oh, no, Ben, that might be before my time.
No, it wasn't.
I'm older than you.
No,
I don't remember that.
That was when Walmart was in the building that Planet Fitness is in.
Gosh, that wasn't there for very long after we moved here, though.
No, but I do remember there being ashtrays on the end caps.
Oh, back in the day.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Yeah, those were the days when smokers had, everything but one part of a plane and half the restaurant.
One part of a plane. Oh. So funny. Anyway.
So back to the movie.
Machine, yeah.
Yeah. So, we've got the berries and there was also their stop for water. When they were next to the river, and he, told her, hey, go up and get it from the flat part and everything. I mean, they took little timeouts every now and again, and it seemed like it was just for character development between the two.
They did. The only thing is that they also ruined that, because I think one of the first ones, he was just like moving himself along, having a gay old time, and then all of a sudden, here comes a dinosaur trying to eat his face. And so then every time after that, you're just waiting for it. Like even during those quiet moments, you're just like, it's coming.
Are you talking about when he was looking over the ledge of the cliff?
Yeah.
And then
look at the majesty.
Yeah.
And now look at the teeth in my face.
Yeah.
It was fantastically.
It was so good.
It was the first one. And so
it was awesome.
I was suspicious after that. Just saying.
Okay. I don't know. I liked the little bits of stopping they did for development. Some of the things when they'd like laugh at each other and things like that, like him slapping the bug and getting his hands stuck on the tree bark and
what was she saying? Like He said something and she kept repeating it, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, I know that one of the things that he said that she kept repeating was shit.
I think that was after that. Like, smack. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. And I mean, well, and that's the whole thing. Like, is those kind of things are what's going to catch a kid's attention first. I mean, she doesn't know that it's a swear word. She doesn't know that that's, right, whatever, but it's an easy to repeat word. And she knew the kind of situation where it was acceptable to say it. Right. And so of course she's going to use it. Yeah.
She can observe that. Our little kids that hear that say it over everything. Like, yeah, give me more broccoli.
Oh God. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Now so I don't know, did you kind of see this a little bit like I did? Their relationship kind of started almost like a big brother, little sister type. I mean, he was giving her hell a lot of the time. Like, I mean, he was snarky and sarcastic and just kind of being a shithead. And she was kind of the victim to it.
I saw that you had said that. And I guess I didn't get the same impression, I guess. I think I felt more like almost felt like in the beginning she was an obligation. Like she was part of his duty. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh crap. Here's a kid and now I have to save her. Like, I could give up, but now I have to save her.
Well, I think that's how it started in the very, very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as they struck out to go, I really, as awful as it is, I think where it started to turn a little bit was when he lied to her that her family was on top of the mountain. That was about when I had noticed that it started to change from being, shit, now I have to take care of this small person that is really a liability to survival, mm-hmm, into, like, then it started to slowly turn into, Big Brother type hazing, like not like, yeah, not super dangerous or anything, but like, I mean, I guess for some people that would also kind of be like, how their dads were. If you grew up with a young dad, then like young dads are kind of notoriously like big brothers to their kids.
Right. I have nothing to say about that. We're just gonna leave that there.
Hey Jamie, what does a horse say?
All I remember is a cow says meow.
Oh, cow says meow.
Cow
okay.
Says meow.
Yeah. As a PSA, if you're a dad and your baby mama spends all day,
baby mama.
Well, not everybody's married all the time now.
All
so,
right.
But if you're a dad and your baby mama spends all day teaching your kid animal noises and things like that, don't contradict them as soon as they leave and teach them that they were all wrong, because
that's gonna bring you some bad juju, man.
it can end badly.
Not that I remember any of that. I was young enough; it didn't scar me for life, so it's okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's almost like it starts like a big brother, little sister type relationship, or at least I felt like it did. But then it did kind of change a little bit. Then the obligation changed. Like, now I have to take care of this person became, I have to take care of this person. I mean, is that kind of what you saw?
Yes. I also saw it shift where she needed to take care of him too. And that was at the quicksand. You know what I mean? Like she heard him screaming and she went for him, and knowing even that she had just gotten out of her own almost had my face eaten off scenario.
Well, and honestly, I think it might have even started a little bit before that.
It could be. That was the moment where I felt like she was the hero. Like that was her hero moment.
That was when it was really clear. Yeah. But like even in the caves, she had gone to a point where she was like, no, I can get through there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let me go and get out.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, he didn't want to give her the lead, of course, because his job is to go in first and get bit.
Right. Get
But
his face eaten off.
yeah. So and now it's like, now it gets to a point where they're almost equals, you know, like, they have a more mutual respect at that point.
I do have to say, this is Earth now, so I have a whole different shift in my entire perspective on this movie. But I did love the quicksand element. I was super glad it was there, just because it was a few years ago. I saw a meme that was like, quicksand is not near the problem I thought it would be when I was a kid. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Because you see this stuff in movies. It's the scariest crap ever. And I remember going to the beach once in a while because, you know, the town we lived in had this beautiful sandy beach. And I was always afraid I was going to step in a spot that was going to be quicksand, right? Like, because it's got to be everywhere. It's in like every movie, right?
Okay. And now I feel like I almost have to give another PSA.
Wait, is this mic time?
No, this isn't
okay.
getting up on my mic. It's getting up on my mic is what it's called. So this isn't getting up on my mic. This is another PSA for all the people out there that are worried about quicksand. Don't worry about quicksand, because if it's quicksand, your body's buoyancy will only allow you to sink to about your armpits. And then after that, you're done sinking.
What?
Yes. Physics keep you from drowning in quicksand.
Is this like the Mandela effect?
No. I don't.
Well, because I was convinced my entire life that quicksand would swallow me. I would die in quicksand.
Well, that's because it wouldn't be interesting if in every movie that it was ever in, people just stopped at their armpits and were like, hey, yeah, could you grab a rope? You know, maybe a long stick. Yeah. I mean, then it wouldn't be quite so
That's fantastic.
terrifying and things like that. So,
Although, I mean, there are other substances that are like quicksand.
tar
like-
pits are different.
Well, not just that,
and
but even
sinkholes are different, and
Not even
things like that.
Corn bins.
Oh yeah, corn. Yeah.
I mean, I think that happened around here not too terribly long ago, that someone like drowned in a corn bin because they got stuck in there and suffocated.
I thought it was like a weekly occurrence here.
Well,
I mean, we're in Nebraska, Jamie.
it's not Iowa. Just saying.
Well, that's true. So yeah, quicksand was a good point in this movie, because that was when she fully established herself as somebody who can save him too.
Well, and she she owned that. That was just, she beat the quicksand. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that wasn't the last time either. Like, oh man. Yeah. So anyway, you also had in here the other talking point about the guy left at the ship. There wasn't a guy left at the ship.
I took it out, Ben, because I was embarrassed after you pointed it out.
Okay. So yeah, there wasn't a guy left at the ship. The whole movie, thank God for never ending bullets. And then at the end, oh shit, no bullets.
Sorry, the entire movie, I was thinking, oh my God, thank God his gun doesn't need bullets, that it's just always going to shoot. And they only need one because it's always going to shoot. And then at the end, he was like, the big mama was there to get them. And it's like, like,
well,
where are the bullets?
Except that you'll remember it wasn't that he was out of bullets. It was just that he needed to reset the gun.
Which is cool. I'm just saying, the entire time I'm like, oh, he's going to be fine. He's got a never ending supply of electrode shooting out Star Wars-esque bullets.
Now, who'd have thought that 65 million years ago that Microsoft was the one that made the fucking technology for guns? Did you try turning it off and turning it back on again?
Thank you, Spectrum. Yes, I'll reset my router again.
Charter sphinctrum.
It's terrible, Ben. No endorsement for you from them.
Oh
Way to
God,
go.
no, I don't use their internet to make this podcast. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, no bullets. It was because he had to reset his gun.
Well, and then seriously, like the whole movie, pew, 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 pew. And then the end, it click, click, click.
Can I just say that I want one? I want one of those guns.
Of course you do.
Wow. Wow. I mean, it just sounds cool when it shoots.
That was the coolest. I really thought the technology, the ideas around the technology was pretty cool.
Like the biofoam idea. How, like, I mean, because even in The Martian, right? In The Martian, he goes and he has a cut. And so he has to go and pull the stuff out. And then he has to staple himself shut and all of that. But in this one, he has a cut and he's bleeding profusely. So then he just takes this thing and shoots himself with this freezing biofoam stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just seals it up for him.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I call it biofoam is because that's also from a series of books that I read. And they call it that in Halo, where they just fill the area with a foam that kind of sterilizes it and seals it or whatever. But still, like, I mean, the biofoam idea was really awesome.
I loved the scanner things, like where, and at the very end, when the escape ship or whatever was flipped over and it was like initializing repair sequence. And I was like, why can't my Kia have that?
Right.
Let's get on the shtick here, people.
Like, I understand mine. Mine's a Ford. I get why that doesn't have its own repair itself thing, but I mean, come on.
Come on, Kia.
That scanner thing that he had, I really loved that one part in the movie when they were in the caves and he got knocked over by that dinosaur and he dropped it, and they were showing the fight from the scanner.
Yeah.
That was in the darkness. You couldn't see what was going on because it was in the dark, but you could see it because of the scanner.
I thought for sure he was going to die.
That was so fucking creative.
For.
Like, yeah. Jen and I were both like, that is badass. Yeah. Like, whoever came up with that idea was
super cool. Like watching the reflection in the water instead of seeing what's actually, it was pretty cool. That was what I Who directed it again?
It was a couple of guys. It was Scott Beck and Brian Woods.
Huh. Yeah.
They
good job.
They both wrote and directed it. So now you've got another talking point on it. We'll jump over to one of mine.
Well, that's probably really my takeaway. So it's okay.
So like all the little things that keep coming up with these two, like, and not even the life threatening ones, like I said earlier, the bugs and stuff like that. He starts doing these things that, like, I don't know, like he just starts showing his affection in very, like, I don't know, strange ways where he's like, he gets a bunch of like goop and stuff on his hands. And then he like chases after her with it, stuff like that. I don't know. It just, it really showed a lot of the turning points in all of that. I think really the big emotional thing was when they got to the mountain, and her family wasn't there. How did you feel in that moment?
It's one of those things, and quite frankly, I think at this point, just as they're ready to leave, right? Just as they're ready to get out of there, one of those things where I think as a parent, I can tell you that there are times where I felt like I had to keep the truth away from my kids, or I felt like, you know what I mean? Like, to get there's times where we can't disclose everything to our kids. We can't be super transparent. And at this point, especially as they were leaving, I saw, obviously, Koa was not going to replace his daughter who died. But I saw that there was enough care for her that maybe she could stay with him and his wife. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That she could have a home there because her parents were gone. And that's what it brought up for me, was just those times where I couldn't be completely transparent with my kids for whatever reason, because it wasn't appropriate or because it wouldn't be helpful for them. Yeah. It's like telling the white lie to get, if she had broken down in the beginning when they're 15 meters from the escape vehicle, if she'd broken.
they wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
How would he have gotten her there? She would have had no reason to keep going. And she wouldn't have had a reason to keep trying. And so I thought that was, and the dichotomy between that for her and almost wondering if that's a little bit of where he was at, because his daughter had passed away. And so was that him putting that forefront for him too? Like, I need to get home. She would want me to come home. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what kind of, it made me wonder what kind of things he was telling himself to keep going when the reason for the trip was gone.
Right. Some of that is that I don't know if I want to really say that it's toxic, but something that is really, that is really kind of a very much a man's thing is, if I'm given the care of somebody and their well-being is my responsibility, even when you have no other reason to do so, you still have a responsibility and feel a need to fulfill it. So, like, the fact that she was still alive was more than enough to keep him going. Maybe not happy because, he has all these other reasons that he doesn't want to keep going at all. Right. But this gave him a job to do. I mean, that's something that we've talked about, in other episodes where, if there's a job to do, then it's real easy to put your emotions and stuff like that aside so that you can do the job. But yeah, I think that probably played a big part of his continuing on with it, was that I have this person that I'm responsible for, and I'm going to make sure that they get to a safe place. Yeah. Yeah. But by the time it got to that point, that had changed. It wasn't about the job anymore. It wasn't about the responsibility or the obligation. It was about, everything had just kind of changed from being because it was what he was supposed to do, to being what he wanted to do.
The other thing that I thought of, just to go back to my absolute favorite show of all time, there was an episode of Grey's Anatomy when one of the characters told the mom that he had found her son in order to get her to go get surgery, right? So, Yep, he's great. He's okay. He's in the waiting room. He's waiting for you. You need to go get your surgery, because she was refusing to go get surgery until he was found. And Dr. Bailey says, do you really think that that's a good idea? And he said, if my life saves her life, then yeah, I'm okay with that. And, I think that's a prime example of one of those spaces where, I'm a rule follower. I'm going to follow the rules. And sometimes maybe a lie is the thing that you need to do to do the best, the most good. And so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. Sometimes people don't understand the reason for hurt until it happens, and then, and then everything's past. But I mean, the hurt of being lied to it's very real. And not to minimize it or anything, but it sucks to your ass, Mar. If somebody lies to you and hurts your feelings by lying to you, and it saves your life, I think that's kind of okay. Your feelings versus your life thing, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just apologize a lot.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing where the intention is important, I think.
Yeah. Like I didn't do this to hurt you. I didn't do this to make you feel bad. Right. I did this to help because you wouldn't have gotten your ass up here to the top of this friggin' mountain.
Right.
If you'd have known. So no, I don't know. I really liked this movie. It was fun. It was different enough in a way that the absurdity of Adam Driver being in, on Earth 65 million years ago, fighting dinosaurs with an energy weapon, and trying to evade total annihilation from a cataclysm of an asteroid. It seems like just a out of reality sort of an idea. Like, who would ever think of that?
I literally, I have such a different opinion about the movie, just knowing it was 65 million years ago on Earth. I told you this morning, I'm like, it was okay, Ben. I mean, it's a survival movie. It's a space survival movie. Yay. We've done that before. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
except that it's not Alien,
Exactly.
It's not any of those things.
No, the aliens came here.
Right.
65 million years ago.
And that's the other thing that I was kind of talking with Jen about, is that, like, another implication is that because he was there and he got injured and bled everywhere, that could have been what seeded Earth with human DNA.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So
except, is he human?
He looks human.
He's humanoid, but that doesn't make him human.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he looked a lot like we do and he bled like we do.
Well, but oxygen, I mean, doesn't the blood run blue in our veins, and then it turns red when it hits the oxygen or something? I mean, maybe it's something like that.
No.
Maybe that's where we got the idea.
Well, it's people misreading the charts.
Well, it's because my blood vessels look blue.
Okay.
It's blue. See? Anyway.
Okay.
It was a good movie. Well, and now I want to go back and rewatch it because I feel like I missed something.
Oh, you weren't ever going to watch it again.
I was never going to watch it again. Because it was just another alien scared movie.
Nope. It's not.
No.
It's a good movie. Did that change your active ingredient at all, or is that, or
the only thing I kept, for me at the end, what I kept thinking as they were floating off and we were watching Earth 65 million years ago be destroyed. Sorry, still mind blown. I kept thinking, like, I hope their mental health services match their technology, because, I mean, if I looked at the girl in the chair next to Mills, it was, holy crap, that poor kid has got some serious childhood trauma now.
Yeah.
Like actual PTSD. Do they understand EMDR? Are they going to be able to, you know what I mean? Like, I was just really hopeful that she could get some serious services. And then I kept thinking, like, those two have a trauma bond now, and trauma bond sometimes is like a terrible, like, it has a terrible connotation to it in some ways, in some situations. But those two came together and survived something insane.
Because of it. Yeah.
Right. And so now they're bonded, and I could totally see him taking her home and them caring for her and giving her a place to call home. And so that was kind of, for me, the active ingredient was imagining what was after, like what comes next, and thinking about how the trauma wasn't just on the planet. Some of it's going to be getting through what they went through, and then, what the future could look like for them as a family, which was kind of a beautiful thing for me.
Right. Now for me, the active ingredient was a little bit more, you actually kind of jumped the gun on me on it.
Oh, I did?
Yeah. You brought it up super, super early where how he was rescuing her in this movie. The whole premise of the movie is that he is rescuing this little girl, and as their story continues, it becomes the other way around. And I guess the reason why that's kind of important for me is because sometimes you need to really evaluate what it is that makes you so attached. Are you there saving that person, or are you there because they save you?
Yeah, who's saving who?
And I mean, I know that can kind of go in a little bit to the whole, like a codependency talk and things like that. But at the same time, it's also a very important thing that that in those kind of like those kinds of relationships that you do allow yourself to be rescued once in a while, that you don't always have to be the hero.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There was one other thing that I took out of this. Never, ever, ever buy a futuristic 65 million year old space pew pew from Ford.
From Ford?
Yeah.
You mean from Microsoft?
Microsoft. Or
'Cause
Microsoft. Probably either one is a bad idea.
Get up and try to shoot a dinosaur and click, click, click. Oh, shit. Do, 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 do.
The driver and the dinosaur stop and look at each other when it goes do, 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 do.
The dinosaur. Oh, yeah, we'll give it a second.
How do I not have a career in making movies? I'm just saying.
Right.
I could really add to this.
Did you ever see that video of the guy that was like on a roller coaster and he'd get up there and then he'd wake up and faint and then he'd wake up again and then he'd faint and then he'd wake up again and it was the Windows noises over and over and over again. All right, go ahead and plug your stuff, Sisto.
Ooh, well, I'm not sure when this episode's going to release, but we just started season 2 of our podcast. And so the episode just dropped and it's kind of a fun one. We had a conversation with a presidential candidate, the Libertarian presidential candidate for 2024. So it was a really cool conversation and I'm excited to share it. So got a lot of good episodes coming. We release on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of the month, and you can find us on Facebook, Facebook, the app formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We're on the gram. So yeah, check us out. It's way fun. Oh, and we have a Patreon. It's way fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for being on. And
thanks for having me. This is way fun. We should do it again, maybe.
Oh, probably.
I mean, it's a hard ask, but maybe I could be a repeat guest or something.
Yeah, it's not like you've been on a whole lot or anything. Oh, if you have a movie that's been medicine for you and you'd like to be on the show, you can email me at contact@movie-rx.com. You can also leave a voicemail or text me at 402-519-5790. If anxiety keeps you from coming on, you can write me a couple of paragraphs. You can send it to me through that text message or that email. I can read it on air. Remember, this movie is not intended to treat, cure, or prevent any disease, and we'll see you at the next appointment.